Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back. This is the finale of What If Deku had a Spartan Quirk. And as always, please, if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. Especially if you want to see more stuff like this, more Deku What Ifs, more whatever What Ifs. And, yeah, that's all I really got to say. I really like doing What Ifs, and I honestly think maybe it could be time to broaden the horizons just a tiny little bit. And I'm going to be trying to do that. I have to really brainstorm stuff about it. So no guarantees just yet. No promises just yet or anything like that. But I do have some ideas that I will be trying to decipher through. But with that said, I want to get right into the what ifs. So let's get into it. Izuku Midoriya has helped take down one of the strongest, most powerful villains, well, in Japan. And now he goes back to his normal high school things. And everything feels kind of stale. Yes, Izuku would go on to trade with his classmates, and he would go on to do certain things like that. And he would have even a tournament with Class 1B versus Class 1A. And to be honest, he felt a little bit out of place. And it's not because he doesn't think that he should be here training with other heroes and stuff like that, or future heroes at that, but there's just something missing. It's as if this crave, this urge, this want for war is like hounding at him. But what he doesn't know is that it's not that it's hounding at him, and it's not that he wants war so badly. It's that war is calling to him quicker than you could possibly imagine. And it seems as if something is actually on the horizon, and to him, he thinks that he just is just fiending for it. That he just wants something bad to happen, but that's not the case. His senses, his Spartan senses, are actually going off, basically telling him that something is coming, and well, there is something coming. Now, for starters, Izuku would go through kind of just working with his agency, being that of his work study, and that of Sir Nine-Eye, excuse me. And it would be pretty interesting. It would be pretty basic, but pretty interesting. He would get some, minor things done. He would help out with patrols, and they would even come across and learn of something known as the Meta Liberation Front, which basically he's able to help out and do things in that regard with the siege of the Meta Liberation Front. But for the most part, the Meta Liberation Front is kind of like on its own. Like there's nothing really going on there specifically. And frankly, they were kind of just on their own, doing their own thing. And it wasn't until a specific event that kind of just was out of the ordinary. It seems as if something occurred where they were staying, and it led to the other heroes finding out where they were and basically bringing them in because, well, they are kind of guilty of many crimes that they actually ended up getting away with and stuff like that, and being able or basically vacating an entire city to a certain extent, right? Now, this isn't even the big issue at front though. Izuku still feels as if there's nothing kind of going on, that he's missing something, that he's missing this kind of crazy war-like scenario. But it's not that he's missing it, it's that it crawls closer and closer. So after the town is sieged and after everything is all said and done, it seems as if, well, there's whispers of something occurring and something brewing at a nearby mountain. But what they don't know is that nearby mountain is no mountain. It's a monster. And when the heroes would go there to check out what's happening, well, they would have a bit of a rude awakening. They would have an awakening where, let's just say, there is a scary being by the name of Gigantomachia charging through them. And Gigantomachia lays havoc and knocks out a lot of the heroes. But it seems like Gigantomachia has plans that he is moving forward with, plans that he is actually trying to execute. He begins to run forward as if he is not stopping, or there is nothing that is going to stop him. And let's just say he's headed straight for one area and one place entirely. And that is the prison where All For One and Shigaraki is currently being held at. It seems as if this monster is loyal to All For One himself and is currently sprinting toward that prison. As Gigantomachia sprints toward the prison, everybody tries to stop him, every single person, but eventually you would get a line of heroes ready to go. Izuku and all of his classmates, and that would include also other heroes as well, people like Mirako, people like Endeavor, and even All Might himself. Yes, All Might with his last little bit of embers that he wasn't able to basically use entirely against All For One the first time, and Izuku's support, since he's able to help All Might, there still is a symbol of peace, at least just temporarily, for a little bit longer. And of course, this would lead to them waiting for Gigantomachia to show up, and eventually the monster would do just that. The monster would show his face charging through, and kind of just enraged and going to save his master, quote unquote. And Izuku would tell everybody to hold their ground. He would pound the ground and pound his spear as he slams his shield, and it seems as if a giant shield goes in front of all of them, and as Gigantomachia clashes with them, they all push back with all of their might. Gigantomachia is trying to overpower them, but since they have some of the strongest beings and heroes there, they're able to hold him off. Izuku would then throw a spear into the sky as spears would rain down on Gigantomachia, puncturing at least him to a certain extent, drilling him to the ground. All Might, Endeavor, many others like Mirako, Bakugo, and so many would go to clash with Gigantomachia, laying blow after blow, trying to give all that they have, but it seems like this monster has one hell of a set of durability, and things begin to get extremely difficult, especially when Nomus would come out of nowhere. A lot of Nomus, including high-end Nomus, would begin to appear, and many of them would begin to trying to cut through the rest of the heroes. But with the help of Izuku and his power boosting like quirk, basically his Spartan morale, he continues to cheer on as a lot of these heroes continue to use their power boost itself to eliminate the Nomus to a large degree. Izuku, though, can tell that Gigantomachia is definitely making some ground, and if he reaches the prison, God knows what's going to happen. So before Gigantomachia can actually reach the prison, Izuku lets out his Wildcard. And this Wildcard is a bit odd, but it's something that will actually be beneficial. So he tells a lot of the reporters to start live streaming what's happening. He tells them all that they need a live audience and they need to be able to hear it through speakers or some sort in general. So he tells them to do so, and that's exactly what they do. And as the speakers begin to play, as all these people begin to cheer for their heroes, Izuku can feel a surge of power and energy grow over him. And as he feels this power, the entirety of Japan cheering them on and cheering him on, well, Izuku begins to grow in size, or at least a kind of more astral version of him begins to grow in size. Yes, it's not actually him, but it's kind of like a shadowy version of him growing in size. He's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually he towers even as tall as Gigantomachia. And this right here is where things get crazy, because Izuku clashes with Gigantomachia, showing the strength that this astral projection type of being of a Spartan, truly how powerful it is. And as the other Nomus begin to fall, and as the other Nomus begin to cut down in size, Izuku continues to beat on Gigantomachia, smashing into him over and over and over again, and eventually wrestling him to the ground. And Gigantomachia is struggling, trying to get out. But as this happens, well, it seems like Midnight realizes the situation and tries to overwhelm him with her pheromones. And as well she does this would greatly help Izuku and the others, so much so that it would almost put him to sleep. But with the punches of All Might, the flames of Endeavor, Todoroki and also Bakugo shooting their full powered blast, with Izuku on top of Gigantomachia, raining hell and grabbing and raining spears on top of him. And as everything combined, the strength of every single hero there is combined, well, Gigantomachia would fall victim to the onslaught of the heroes, and he would be out cold, if not almost on his last leg of life. The last-ditch effort of the villains to get out All For One and many others has been thwarted. But what happens to Izuku for the rest of his life? Well, there's questions, a lot of questions, that is going to have to be answered for the Spartan and, well, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya goes throughout his high school pretty normally. He works with Sir Night-Eye's agency a lot of the time, but to be honest, Izuku was always the one to lead the pack, always a warrior that would lead his own clan, warriors, tribe, and, well, whatever you could call it, anything you can think of, and that includes having his own hero agency. So when he's older, when he's almost basically out of high school, out of UA for the first time, he actually gets offered a position and gifted something by All Might. By now, All Might's already retired and kind of gone away, but he is offered something by All Might, and this would be his own agency, funded by Sir Night-Eye and also All Might himself, gifting the Spartan his own way of creating the perfect team for his own. Because All Might realizes that there is no one person anymore. There's a realization that was brought over him that for a long time it was him. That's who protected everybody. That's who made sure everyone was safe. It was All Might himself, and that was it. He took it upon himself to do everything. But with Izuku, well, he had a realization that it's so much more. Izuku Midoriya gives them a chance to all be powerful, to all work together and be alongside each other. Yes, Izuku is more powerful than most, and he's going to lead the forefront as always, but a Spartan never allows a man to just fall and perish, not without a complete and utter fight. And sometimes, well, if you want to beat a villain, you have to truly let out your inner warrior, because what they're gonna do, what villains will do, is they will give their complete and utter effort to make sure you either pass on or you lose that fight. A warrior will do the same exact thing, but a warrior can still maintain his morals and morality even when fighting the worst of the worst and the scum of the scum. And Izuku Midoriya could lead the heroes to a new era, an era that it's no longer going to be hero work, no longer going to be just similar, same popularity. This will be warriors, hero and heroic warriors that maybe only you would read in the books about. Izuku Midoriya will lead a new generation and will lead more and more people. And once he's available to do so, Izuku, well, he may just be known as someone even greater than All Might, but for a totally different reason. All Might himself may have been the definition and the showing of what peace looks like. He may have dropped the crime rate entirely, but Izuku will do that and even more, but through means that All Might would never do, through means of basically everyone being together and everybody working together entirely. Izuku Midoriya is gonna be a different type of difference maker than All Might ever was. And people that are bad heroes, people that follow bad ideologies, well, let's just say they would fall in line, or they would fight or they would have to face or fight the rage of a Spartan. But with that said, that is the end of What If Deku Had a Spartan Quirk. And if you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about the pace of this series. Obviously, I decided to do a little bit different of a pace. I do get, descriptive with some things, like, some fights or some actions that I think matter, whatever, right? But depending on the circumstance, like let's for example, let me say the quirk assessment. I don't really need to go in super detail with that. I think there's certain things definitely in My Hero Academia that I don't need to sit here and yap on and on and on about. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think about the pacing. I know technically it would probably be it's going to be around the same amount of time, but I think the pacing per part is a little better. Like if I do 30 minutes an episode, at least normally 30 minutes an episode, like around 30-ish, I can get through quite a bit, and then it probably end up being like an hour and a half movie or something like that. I think I like this pacing a little bit more, but still, nonetheless, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And yeah, that's all I got to say. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.